Hey guys, it's Abby and I'm going to show you how to make these really cool swirly earrings. They look a little complicated, but they're actually pretty simple once you get the hang of it. So I am just gonna go ahead and get started. Let's get into it. So the first step when you're making any sort of wire jewelry is to measure out your wire. You're gonna wanna just pull on this a little bit. It's not too thick, so it shouldn't be hard, but you want it straight-ish. So what I usually do is I take the bead that's going to go on the top of the wire, put it in there really quickly. We're going to use our round nose pliers, and we're going to create a little loop, which is how we're gonna attach it to our hooks. So it's very simple. You just take the end, and then you are just going to twist it around one side of the pliers. And what I like to do to straighten these out is I take my round nose pliers like this, and I put it at the part where I want the bend to be to straighten out the loop, and then just twist it a little bit like that. And now we have the top loop that is going to eventually connect to the loop at the bottom of our earring hook. And so for measuring out the rest of the wire of this design is very squiggly. So even though the earring itself won't be probably this long, you have to have more wire. Like, I can't just cut it off right there. Then I will not have enough to make the loops or the swirl at the end. Take a little bit more than you need. So I'm going with this amount. You don't want to grab too much wire, because if you do that, then you're just going to have a bunch of excess. This is the length that I'm going with right now. I am going to actually bring in another tool, but it's not required. These are flat nose pliers. You can use your round nose pliers just to hold it still. That's all we're using this for. The first thing for this design that you're going to do is you have your bead on already. That's how we helped measure. And you need to kind of hold the top part in place so that it doesn't move. And you're going to use your finger to help like push back against the wire. We want the wire to go out a little bit and then curve back in. Basically bending it like a flat angle against the bead. So now the bead won't budge. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my round nose pliers and kind of mark where I want the curve to turn back around. I'm gonna go for like right there. Okay. We have this little curve. Now take our second bead. So here we have my, what I think is blue quartz, and put it in like that. Now this looks a little wonky, so I'm going to want to try and flatten this. Just gently press together so that when you put this bead in, it doesn't look so exaggerated anymore. I'm going to do pretty much the same thing I did with this, but we're going in the opposite direction. I'm going to give a little bit of space. I don't want to like immediately go straight down, because then that'll ruin the flowiness of the design. I'm making the curve. And you can also, of course, use your round nose pliers to make this part much smoother. Right now I'm just making sure that everything is flat. Okay, now this is what we're left with. This is still a little funky. I'm just gonna go and tidy up this loop a little bit so I can show you what I mean. Okay. We have been successful. Now we have the main part of the bead. We're finishing it off by doing a little swirl, but I can already tell that this is just a bit too long. So I'm going to snip off just a little. Literally that much off of my wire piece. You can kind of get a better feeling for how much wire you have to work with once you get to this point. And I'm just going to take my pliers, do that wrap around to make a loop in the center. We're gonna leave it about half like that. Take your pliers like this, and then your fingers, and start to curve. If you don't want to leave kind of bite marks, depending on the material of the pliers that you're using on the wire, you can also do this with your fingers. And you're just gonna keep wrapping until you find your desired size. I'm gonna make the center of this spiral a little bit tighter. This is the part that we're going to attach to the earring hook. Okay, now that we have our finished product, the last thing we need to do is attach our earring hook. You're just going to open this loop, but you're not going to pull it outward. Instead, is grab it horizontally like that and push it down just slightly. And what we've done is created a little gap here without ruining the shape of the loop. We're just going to take our earring hook, make sure that this is facing the way that you want so that it hangs correctly. That's exactly what my earring is going to look like on my ear. Now that we have this threaded on, what we are going to do is close our loop. Make sure that's nice and fastened. I like to press in a little just to make sure everything's good. You have your earring. I am going to really quickly make my second earring. It is the exact same process. And there you have it, our little matching pair of whimsical earrings. And what's great about this design is it does not need to be perfectly symmetrical. Each different earring is unique, and I will show you what they look like. Okay, so I'm gonna try them on really quickly. Push it through. And what I like to do sometimes to make sure it's more secure is press inward just to make that loop a little bit tighter. And you have just made your very own earrings. So I hope you guys enjoyed and have a wonderful day. Bye!